I believe. So let's not do any of the chat. Let's go straight to pitch report after an opening chat, yeah? Because time. Welcome to the Queen Sports Club. It's a wonderful morning here, nice and pleasant. We're looking forward to 3 really exciting T20 internationals. Zimbabwe taking on Namibia. Alongside me, Dixon Wambe. Dixon, welcome to Zimbabwe. And what do you think about the next couple of matches?
I think it's exciting, especially preparing the ICC T20 Men's Africa Qualifier, the World Cup. Namibia, a team full of experience and also a lot of exciting youngsters.
Right, Namibia full of experience. There's a lot of youngsters as well. We'll see how they go through the series. Before we do that, let's go and find out what the pitch is going to be like. Darlington Matamanadzo. Okay. Wow. Are we there?
Because now we're gonna discuss toss now.
Ball first is what Darlington Matamanadzo thinks on this Queen Sports Club surface. It'll be interesting to find out what the two captains think about that. Let's join Eli Tamirepi, who's out there in the middle for the toss. Huh? How far has he gone? Still the first interview. When? For toast, reggae. Yeah, we'll come back to you later on with that full toss report. Interesting to see what the captains will do at that toss. But right now, let's get ready for the two national anthems.
Well, so Namibia have won the toss and have inserted Zimbabwe to bat. We're just a few seconds away from the two national anthems. It's a 3-match T20 international series. First one is... The next one will be on Wednesday and then Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday, both in the afternoon. This is the only morning match in this 3-match series between Zimbabwe and Namibia.
We could have finished the toss.
Kom, Zem. Kom. Nee, top.
Just a few seconds away from the start of the first T20 International as Zimbabwe host Namibia. It's the second time in the last 5 years that Namibia have visited Zimbabwe and come to Queen's Sports Club. Just going to go through a couple of the sides. I'm joined by Dixon Mambe, who is just going to let you know who is playing for Namibia this morning. Dixon, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. An exciting morning here, Namibia tour of Zimbabwe, just in time before all to play for. But looking at the team this morning, Jan Freiling, of course, the all-rounder, Milan Krier, Jan Nicole after Eaton, Gerard Rasmus, the captain, JJ Smith, has been playing really well lately. The youngster, Dylan Leicher, I think everyone is saying that he'll be filling in those shoes of David Wiese. Zane Green, Ruben Trumperman has been hitting the ball really well lately. Bernard Scholes, of course, Bernard Scholes, the best bowler in the associate cricket. Jack Russell, the exciting youngster, quite nippy. And an interesting addition there, Alexander Bushing for Shank.
And then Zimbabwe have made a few changes from their last outing, which was against Sri Lanka at Harare Sports Club a week ago. Brian Bennett and Tadiwa Nashimarumani are going to be at the top of the order. They're walking out now. And Brendan Taylor is on the side this morning. Dion Myers, Sikandar Raza is going to be captaining in the middle order. Very key player for them. Ryan Pearl and Tashinga Msekiwa at 7. Wellington Masakadza is back from injury. Good to see him in red and yellow. And then the three seamers this morning are going to be Brad Evans and the left arm quick Richard Garava and Blessing Mzarabani.
I can't help but notice the absence of Sean Williams in that squad.
Sean Williams is unwell this morning. And as a result, Dion Myers has come in as a replacement. But that's good to see. Dion Myers has been in tremendous form in National Premier League. He led his side, the Soga Rangers, to their first National Premier League victory just a week ago. And has been outstanding. Has been really, really tremendous, hitting it cleanly. Good to see him back in yellow and red.
Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about the last time Namibia was playing Zimbabwe right here at Queen's Sports Club. We all know that Namibia lifted that trophy of that series. Were you around?
Oh, yes, I was. Gloomy, horrible weather for the entirety of that series. First delivery, just a little bit of swing, and that's allowed Brian Bennett to work this into the leg side.
I think Namibia will be looking to, of course, repeat those fortunes.
Yeah, Namibia have had a good record against Zimbabwe in recent history. Not just that series. They won that one 3-2, and then were partly responsible for knocking Zimbabwe out of World Cup qualifiers. Last time that Zimbabwe hosted T20 World Cup qualifiers here, well, played in them, sorry, and when they lost to Uganda and Namibia in those qualifiers that were in Namibia. And Zimbabwe want to get some payback here. And it is also great preparation. The qualifiers for the T20 World Cup happening in Harare from the beginning of next week. And both these sides are going to be playing in those, and this is perfect preparation. Namibia and Zimbabwe are going to be in different groups this year around. And really good opportunity to just get a feel for the conditions and get some competitive cricket before then.
When it's coming on 1, 10 by 2. On 2. That's it, zoom out like that.
It's good to see JJ Smith bowling now. Once again, international cricket. It was a period of about 18 months when he was just focusing on his batting. Quite a number of niggles. Back in full force, moving the ball. Namibia starting with a lot of experience up front.
Coming to 1. I'm on 1, 10 by 2.
It looks in good rhythm.
On 2.
Just getting enough movement either way, either into the right-handed Bennett, and then he's been generally going into the left-handed Marumani. And nice control early on.
Yeah, the first couple of overs are very important for both teams. Someone has to throw the first punch. Someone has to assert some dominance.
The batsman. Coming to 3. Coming to 1. On 1. Coming to 2.
Yeah, my feeling is that wicket looks quite slow. It's not coming onto the bat this morning. And I think the best plan as a batter is just to absorb a little bit of pressure, allow Namibia to have the first 3 or 4 overs in this match, because it's going to get easier as this match progresses. You want to make sure you don't lose too many wickets in the power play. Namibia are expecting to pick up wickets in this power play, which is why they won the toss this morning and chose to bowl first.
I think you're very right. However, I still feel that Namibia is a team that once they have control. Gerard Rasmus, quite clever bowling changes.
I'm on 4. Coming to 1. On 1. On 2. Follow.
Yeah, I had to go for it, didn't he, Marumani? Looking towards car corner, gets the outside edge and over. Wideish first slip, and that's the first boundary of the innings for Zimbabwe. 1 gone, and it's 5 for none.
Beauty shot camera 1. Quickly coming to 1.
Well, you just made a very interesting point for me about Gerard Erasmus and how he makes these interesting bowling changes. But for me, it's just the quality and depth that Namibia possess, because they've got a lot of all-rounders in this 11 this morning.
Yeah, you've got a lot of all-rounders, especially the exciting youngsters. Dylan Laiger. And Freiling not being an all-rounder anymore. Just opening the bat. Stop bowling now for it's almost a year.
Coming to.
And talking about young talent, Jack Russell.
On 4, show me the field. Pen. That's a bowler. Show me the bowler. Coming to 1. On 1. On 1. Coming to 3. On 3. There go for you.
Well, he's through. Brian Bennett. Exciting young cricketer. Here's Jack Russell. Just looks like a he's a season away from getting the ball consistently around 140 plus. And young still.
Coming to 3.
Just turned 20, so it's just a little bit of filling out that we expect to see.
Camera 3.
And
Camera 3 after
tightening up that bowling action. Again, that climbed steeply. Brian Bennett wasn't in control of that one.
Yeah, what's exciting about this Jack Russell youngster is
5.
you can see there's a lot of potential for him to pick up more pace.
Center them. Just
He
center them.
gets extra bounds,
Coming to 3.
also moves the ball equally well.
Camera 3. Who's Mkulu? That's a cinema item.
Yeah, that's really good running. Running between the wickets is key, especially in this power play for these two teams.
Absolutely, because just a little bit of life out there for the seam bowlers, isn't there? So it's going to be a little bit harder than we normally expect. We're going to see a very different, I think, day on Wednesday. Ball's probably going to be coming on later start, but early start, dew in the wickets still. A little bit of seam movement, difficult to get through your hands through the line of the ball. So we're going to see a little bit more nudging and nurdling, getting the ball around rather than big hits to the boundary in this power play.
Yeah, this is the one that comes back in. You always start to see Jack Russell, the third and fourth delivery, he brings that one just back inside. Got a sharp bouncer as well.
There is a fielder back on the square leg boundary. And fine leg is inside the circle. So the Namibians have done their research. They know that Brian Bennett is very strong square of the wicket on both sides. So they've got a fielder on the square leg boundary and a very square third man. Just really have taken away his big shots.
Well, I've watched and done a lot of associate cricket, and I think Namibia is really high up there when it comes to fielding. Super disciplined.
Oh, that's gone through. That's the first real error from Jack Russell this morning. And Brian Bennett's very strong there. He gets his first boundary this morning. End of 2. Zimbabwe are 12 for none.
Yeah, there was just a little too much width on that one, especially at that pace when you're trying to get into your rhythm. Bennett will fist on that all day.
An interesting player for me, Brian Bennett, because he doesn't move his feet in the technically correct manner that we sort of imagined. Just to have another look at the sides playing today. But what that then does is it allows him to really throw his hands at balls that are just slightly outside the line of the off stump. Doesn't have to be very wide, and he can get it away square. And it's really important you get the ball into the line and the top of the off stump. Two fielders back, one on the just behind square on the boundary for Marumani. We have a short third man inside the circle. That is at the top right hand corner of your screens. And then another boundary at a square third man. Again, signs of real research. They've understood Marumani wants to be attacking square of the wicket on both sides. Brian Bennett wants to be attacking square of the wicket on both sides. Yeah, that's a soft one. And he's put it away. He's absolutely smashed it. Didn't have the length right this time to JJ Smith. And that's allowed Marumani to get square and away from protection on that square third man boundary.
Yeah, a bit of a slow delivery again here from JJ Smith. And what you tend to see from these two batters, Bennett and Marumani, they will put the bat one away.
Well, that's a good response, good comeback. Just got to make sure with Marumani, just got to tie him down a few deliveries. Doesn't take very long. You can get 2 or 3 dot balls at Marumani. He sometimes loses his head just a little bit. We saw a very mature innings from him the last time he was in Zimbabwe colours in the 3-match T20 series against Sri Lanka. He got past 50 in that. There's been a tendency to just lose his head a little when a series of dot balls are bowled at him.
Sure. Good point. Good point.
Deep backward point.
I didn't get the call.
It's interesting to see he just moved the field around at a deep backward point, and now he comes and bowls straight. And he made sure that Bennett noticed that he was moving the field. Possibly a ploy to fool Bennett that he might be coming in and bowling short and wide, and he goes straight to this delivery.
I think that's the length to bowl at both Marumani and Bennett. You want a good length, tending to be full. Somewhere around there. Make them work for their runs as he tries the little side footer for the run out. Really good awareness from all players. Marumani and Bennett, quick call. JJ Smith just sees the opportunity and runs down. And the end of a good over. Just 6 runs from that one. Zimbabwe 18 for none.
Yeah. Can I ask him to add me?
Just talking about the recently completed National Premier League and some names, exciting names. Innocent Kaya coming back from injury was the leading run scorer, 791 runs at an average of 87, 45 overs per side. And then Hassan Ali Akil was in second place, 628 runs, 150 runs behind. Brian Chari of Amakosi was in third. Tarisaim Sakanda, former Zimbabwe international, in fourth with 535. And Tadiwanashe Marumani, from just 9 innings, was 531. Average 66. Strike rate 150. So he's been in good touch in recent history. And then in 9th position in that National Premier League run scoring was Dion Myers. Average of 98.
A good start here to Ruben Trumpelmann's over.
A few people have come out. This is good to see. Early on a Monday, early in the week. But there are some spectators at Queen Sports Club.
Tell you what, in this weather, there's nowhere else I'd rather be rather than next to a cricket field.
Not the outside edge. I think that's deliberate from Marumani. And it's been even, hasn't it? Dixon, 19 for none. Either side really dominating this power play so far. But I think Zimbabwe probably slightly happier because they haven't lost any wickets yet, as yet.
Yeah, and also Zimbabwe has a lot of firing power. And they've always been able to finish their innings well.
Well, that's a miss-hit. I think it's going to clear mid-on, but Brian Bennett didn't find the middle of the bat there. Comes back for 2.
There are early signs of aggressions from Bennett. It's not really an easy surface to just come and easily get on. You were there doing the pitch report. You said this would be a good surface to bowl on.
Yeah, it just looked for me, it had a little more grass on it, and it was livelier than we're used to seeing at the start of a T20 International. And generally T20 Internationals at Queen's Sports Club start at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't get these early starts. And what often happens is they take the covers off at 7 o'clock when the ground staff get here, and it spends the day out and the sun dries out beautifully, and it's a very, very good batting surface from about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Expect sides to get 185, maybe 190 runs. But this one just feels like the kind of wicket you could win on with scores around 140. Well, that's a goodie. That's a really good delivery from Trumpelman. Gets it past the outside edge.
Yeah, Trumpelman making his debut for Namibia back in 2021.
Yeah.
Has played a lot of cricket
Now I can hear you.
all over the world ever since. And lately has worked a lot on his
Now
batting.
I can hear.
Probably you'll see him coming in at 6 or 7.
Good, just rotation of the strike. And what's important is Trumpelman's not gone for a boundary on this over.
No, you're right. Not going for a boundary just pulls things back a little bit for Namibia, doesn't it? It's 4 down, 24 for none. And that crowd is slowly trickling in here at Queen's Sports Club.
Seeing the cooler boxes at 9 o'clock in the morning.
If not, why not?
Now, so one of the features of Queen's Sports Club is those Cape fig trees that line the eastern boundary. I've seen a few really big sixes. Those are big sixes to get them up into the top of those trees. Tino Tenda Maposa is not playing today. He's hit one into those trees. Well, that's across the line. It's hit him outside the line of the off stump, so he's going to be safe here. As there's a change of end for Jack Brassel.
I think Marumani here is looking to go.
Yeah, he's generally brought in for this, and he's striking 13 from 17. Really would like it to be the other way. 17 from 13 would at least be a good, strong start for Zimbabwe. But it's been tough going out there, and he's just got to make up for it in those middle overs once the field spreads.
This one, he hits it really well. It goes all the way. That's a maximum. It's the first 6 here for Zimbabwe. Marumani gets his kick on now.
Yes, got into such a good position this time, and I don't think that Brassel was very short here. But it's just the urgency of the moment that allows Tadiwanashe Marumani to just work this over the mid-wicket boundary for the first maximum of the morning. And wide down the leg side.
Yeah, a bit wayward here for Jack Brassel. I think as a youngster, after getting hit in such fashion by Marumani, your mind tends to wander. And so does your release point. Cops himself a wide now.
This is good from Marumani again. Inexperience is what he's targeting here. He's got the 6 from the second delivery, and then he's got a boundary from the third. So this is shaping up to be quite a big over for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, you can clearly see that Marumani has targeted this over. Russell just looks unsettled.
Extra bounce this time. So here's an idea. Back of the length into the body. Get it away from that line just outside the line of the off stump. But this is a good one so far for Zimbabwe. He was 13 from 17 at the start of this over, was Marumani. Now he's 23 from 20. Starting to look a lot better from his own perspective.
That is really good running. Marumani and Bennett, they know how important running between the wicket is, especially in the power play. And it just brings a whole lot more momentum later on when the field is spread.
One delivery left. It's been an expensive over, 13 from it. But Jack Russell just wants to make sure he closes off nicely. And that's a good way to end what was a difficult over for the young fast bowler. 5 overs gone, 37 for none. And there'll be little change in the commentary box.
Time for me to welcome the voice of reason in the box. Tino, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dixon. Good morning to all of those who are watching this telecast. 3 very important games for both these sides.
Yeah, just the work of the wrist here to Laiche for a single. Namibia haven't done so well on the previous visit to Queen's Sports Club, and that will still play on Zimbabwe's minds.
It's a bit too close to play the cut shot, I think. Marumani envisaging what might have been had he got that away. Must say, Queen's Sports Club is looking lovely. Lots of cricket played here over the winter. 4 test matches in the space of about 6 weeks. Fungai Shangan has done a great job. Grass has recuperated fantastically well. Straight to mid-on. Ooh, confusion, but Bennett gets back.
Yeah, fumbling quite quickly there, JJ Smith. And Marumani thought there was an opportunity to steal a single. It is quite lush here as compared to where we're coming from. Ventic, Namibia, still experiencing some very low temperatures. And then you come to Queen's Sports Club, big trees, lush outfield, quick outfield.
Yeah, it's a good length. And it's one that most batters will struggle to get away. I don't think the surface is quite coming on as the batters would have expected, and I think that's why the Namibian captain elected to bowl first. Bulawayo folk love their cricket. Monday morning, not the normal day you'd have a T20 international. A reminder, of course, that two countries just squeezed these fixtures in ahead of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifier next week in Harare. So, final opportunity for both of these teams just to fine-tune their sides and ensure they're as prepared as possible.
I think it is imperative for these teams, especially, not only serves as a platform to get your final squads and get combinations going, also to size each other up for the qualifier.
He's crunched that one, Marumani. 2 full, 2 straight. And then with the field restrictions in play, he'll get himself a boundary. Into the power play, Zimbabwe 44 for none.
Yeah, power play being finished here, Tina. I think Zimbabwe will be happy with their position. Having not lost any wickets. It's all for Erasmus now to do some thinking, to do some strategizing. Marumani, 31 of 27, and Bennett, 10 of 9. You can't help but see and notice that those couple of boundaries have just brought a lot of flair to Marumani. And just outside the power play, field is spread. And it's the introduction of Nicole Lofty-Eaton.
So sweeper square offside, as well as leg just behind square on the leg side. Deep mid wicket. Long on, long off. You want to get that long on, long off as straight as possible because Bennett strikes the ball so well straight over the bowler's head. Missing the leg stump.
There's good shots here from Namibia, but I think it's just sending a message across. Pitch this time. It'll fall safe and they'll pick up a single.
It would have been interesting to think what would Zimbabwe have said to themselves as what they feel is a competitive total on this pitch, and would it have remained the same the way they've seen the pitch play in these first 6 overs?
I think there will be a lot of talk and readjustment, especially after such a positive power play. With wickets in hand, I think to start off, Zimbabwe would have been happy. Haven't set their targets to 140, 150 after the first 3 overs, but after such an explosive end to the power play, they'll be targeting possibly 160.
That's sliding down the leg side again. It's not a shot that you see Brian Bennett play often, a sweep shot, and you can see the way he's trying to play that one looked a little bit uncomfortable. Didn't manage to extend the arms to get the connection as far away from the body as possible. Wide of long off. And we'll just get one.
Yannick Lofty-Eaton on a hunt here.
Shot. That is dispatched by Marumani. 2 full. Gets right underneath that one. Clears the boundary at long on with ease.
I think just slightly too full here from Lofty Eaton. And it's 52 for none. 7 overs done. What a way to finish it off for Marumani.
He's coming off a half century against Sri Lanka in the final game of that T20 International Series about a week ago. So he's full of confidence. It was his 4th T20 International, his first against a full member. But you can see 37 from 29 now. It's moved along quite nicely, Marumani.
Bennett scores to ball the 8th. Recently received his accolade as the best bowler in associate cricket. A bit wide to start off with. They come back easily for a second one. Marumani Bennett just done so well in setting a platform here for Zimbabwe. You can see it's all smiles, Bell and Sikanda.
Run a ball 15 from 15 for Brian Bennett. Very uncharacteristic of him in this format of the game, but there's one thing that he does well, always looks to catch up. When you talk to him, he quite often says, you've got a lot more time even in a T20 than you think. So when he's not able to get out the blocks, he still understands that he's got the opportunity to bat longer, which he needs to do, because he's taking a few balls to get going and then needs to capitalize.
Yeah, it looks to be smooth sails from here onwards for Marumani. He's just assumed a bit more control now in his innings. That is well played.
Yeah, happy to rotate the strike. Give the strike to the man who's in good form. Brian Bennett, and striking the ball well. Has the realization that today I haven't got going, not yet, but my partner has. So allow him to do the damage, allow him to take control of the partnership, which is 58 now, with the ball to go in the 8th over. Back over the bowler's head. Exactly what I was referring to. Bennett very good to the spinners in that area. Brings to an end the 8th over, 62 for none.
Well, the trumpets and the drums. It's going to be a really good morning right at Queen's Sports Club. He done 62 for Nalos. And Erasmus stands to full shank.
Yeah, Alex Volshenk, former under 19 captain for Namibia, captained them at the 2024 under 19 World Cup in South Africa. He gets an opportunity with the ball.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to watch him a couple of days ago in a warm-up match or an inter-squad match in Windhoek, Namibia. He was bowling really well. Also quite decent with the bat. He's bowling off a shortish run-up. A bit of chatter there between Erasmus and I know Chubby.
Oh, he's missed out. He's missed out there, Marumani. Probably a bit of extra bounce.
Bowling from a shortish run-up, full shank. Just looking to hit lines and length. And that's the line you want to be bowling to Marumani. Just a touch off outside off stump. Yeah, they pick up a single. Easy pickings here for Marumani and Bennett. It's always interesting to watch Brian Bennett and how he goes about his batting. It's technically a lot different from your normal or from your usual opening batters. Not normal. Relies a lot on his ends. Very little to no feet movement majority of the time.
Yeah, he's got great hand-eye coordination, Brian Bennett. Crunched away by Marumani. Missed out on width earlier on in the over. This time, gets it away.
That's another welcome boundary here for Zimbabwe. Volshenk has been plying on those lines for quite a long time now. And Marumani has missed out on a few chances, but on this occasion, hit delivers. Moves on to 44 from 34 deliveries. And 2 more to go in this over.
That's up in the air. It's over mid-off. One bounce into the boundary. So Marumani just picks up the scoring right now.
That's good going here for Marumani. No, good over here for Zimbabwe. 10 runs coming off it. 9 done. 72 for no loss. Tino, this is a great platform for Orion Bell, Sikandar Raza to come and bat in.
It is indeed, and I'm just looking at the men to come. Brendan Taylor due in at 3. Dion Myers originally due in at 4. You still have Raza. You've got Ryan Burl, and you just see Zimbabwe picking up the scoring rate, up at 8 now. And you just wonder, Is that batting lineup going to stay the same? Just 10 overs to go. You want to maximize as much as possible. You can see a couple of shifts in that batting lineup for sure, I think, from a Zimbabwean point of view. Over number 10, short. Bennett pulls. Has he got enough on it? Has he got enough? Yes, he does. Just enough.
That's a good start here to the 10th for Zimbabwe. And Bennett decides to join the party. The party that Marumani started. Not fully himself here, Bernard scolds. Is causing all sorts of trouble a couple of weeks ago in Canada. Yeah, Marumani hits that really well.
It's half century number 5 for Marumani. And T20 International Cricket back-to-back half centuries in this format. And this young man just starting to find his form.
Yeah, they'll pick up a second one. Yeah, Marumani Bennett have found themselves now. One more to go in this over. Marumani feels he's missed out on that last delivery. It's 10 done. It's 83 for Nolos, and then time for some change in the box.
The brass band is becoming a feature of cricket in Zimbabwe. Whenever the chevrons are playing, they bring a little bit of atmosphere on the here at Queen's Sports Club this afternoon. Eli, already we're seeing quite a few people in the ground this morning. We're seeing a few cooler boxes as well.
Yeah, fantastic morning it is right here in the city of kings and queens. And speaking of royalty, kings and queens, they don't have to wake up quite early going anywhere. They've got servants that are serving them or doing duties on their behalf. It's been a fine morning, great outing, and it's good to see the band also up and about in song.
Well, that's wonderful from Brian Bennett. He's forced that away off the back foot. And he gets a boundary early in this over. Coming out of the power play, I think Namibia would have been really happy with the way that things had gone. For at least the first 5 overs, they'd really kept a lid on Bennett and Marumani. But since then, Marumani's really cut loose. And then Brian Bennett's just played a blinder. Absolute beauty of a back foot drive. And this time it's the running between the wickets, keeps the pressure on the Namibians.
Slow start that Brian Bennett has had, but What I love about it is that Marumani, he took matters into his own hands, broke the shackles, allowed Brian Bennett to really get into his element. He's known to be much of the aggressor. It's taken a bit of a while, but he's had a good start. Now into the 30s, and he would love to convert that.
Well, that's the top edge. It's going to go all the way. And it's runs that Zimbabwe is going to enjoy.
Yeah, bit of luck on that one, top edge. But I'll tell you what, Brian Bennett will accept that any day. And more so will be the Zimbabwean fans. They will accept runs on the board. A good opening partnership. Well, with 93 runs at the moment. And they're building it up quite well.
He's starting to show signs of understanding. Look, opening the batting is a partnership. And T20 doesn't change that. It just accentuates it, I think. And what we've seen is understanding between Bennett and Marumani. Bennett held back when Marumani got going. And now he understands that he's taking a little bit of time. He's also starting to put the hammer down as Zimbabwe approach the 100.
Yeah, for me, I think it's just a matter of time. The amount of time that Zimbabwe has played, the type of opposition that they've played prior to these games. They've been put under a lot of fire. And so that, for me, has just helped them to be having this kind of momentum where you're able to grow from strength to strength, learn from the strong sides that they've played against. Played against New Zealand earlier on, South Africa, and we saw glimpses of the work that Zimbabwe has put in versus Sri Lanka. Lost by narrow margins.
I'm going to take you further back than that. December of 2024, we did a series against Pakistan where they were playing T20 cricket there. And then they just finished another series that had test matches and T20s in that against Afghanistan. They've been busy since October last year. And what it does is it hardens you when you play against some of the best players in the world. And they expose the weaknesses in your processes. You go back, you fix those processes when the games are coming fast and furious.
No, dropping fortuitously. That was a brief glimpse of possible breaking off the partnership. That'll be 11 overs done. That'll be 97 for no loss for Zimbabwe after 11 overs.
What's important about that as well is Tadiwa Nashe Marumani has back-to-back 50s in T20 internationals. Has had some difficulty early on in his career and seems to have found his way through them. And I think as we go back to the points you were making earlier about the quality of opponents he's been playing against.
When you speak of Marumani, I would go back to the series that you just mentioned versus Pakistan. They had a terrible series in that particular tour of Pakistan coming through to Zimbabwe. But what I love about Marumani has been the kind of attitude that he has shown. Yes, it didn't go rightly well for him, but he went back, worked on himself, came back strongly. And that just shows you the kind of aptitude that you need at this kind of level.
And the other thing that he's done as well is he's absolutely butchered domestic bowling. In the last 4 or 5 seasons, he's been always, whatever cricket he's playing, he's got the best strike rate. And then oftentimes he's had the highest runs aggregate in a season. Or been in the top 3 or 4 batters in the country. He's done that again this year in the NPL. And so this is a good progression we're seeing from Marumani.
Oh, too close to cut. Keeping it a bit low on that occasion.
Looking for the flat pull. I think he was trying to get that a little straighter, way over the bowler's head, but Rasmus has bowled well so far. Just 2 runs from the 3 deliveries he's bowled in this spell.
Now going for the sweep shot. not able to make contact on that occasion. Marumani set better of the two, but now both of them, we can definitely say that they have allowed themselves to really get into a great sense of rhythm, taking the scoreboard over at almost 8.5 and over. Thickish outside edge, and square of point. They do well to pick up 2 runs, very important runs, as that will bring up the 100 for Zimbabwe. These two have really set a platform for their team, and everybody else that will be coming in can build upon that.
The pitch report this morning, I thought a scorer, you got to cross 150, you'd have done very, very well. But Bennett and Marumani clearly understand the game better than I do, because they've set up projected score 170. Don't think Zimbabwe will be happy with 170. I think from a position like this, you've got to be looking to get beyond 200.
And 12 overs done, 103 for no loss, Zimbabwe. Just talking of stats of matches played here at Queen's Sports Club, especially T20Is. 22 T20 internationals have been played here. 14 of those have been won by teams batting first, and 8 only to the teams chasing.
But both captains wanted to bowl first. And I think it was just that tough period. There was the first 4 or 5 overs were really, really difficult. But once you get through those difficult overs, really good batting.
Yeah, speaking about both captains, Kandaraza said he would have loved to bowl first, and said, you know what, I would love to be in a situation whereby at the end of the Zimbabwe innings, we're around 160. Well, it seems to be well on course for that, or even more.
Yeah. Brendan Taylor likely to be the next man in, and then Dion Myers, who's in really good touch. Well, that's the slower delivery. Marumani had set himself up to go over wide-ish cow long on. Very square fielder on the cow boundary. And he's been targeting that area. And this time he cleared the front foot, trying to get the ball straighter into the gap between long on and cow corner.
Yes, opening the face of the blade, and they take off. That's good running. This has also been important to this partnership. Just working singles, managing that dope ball percentage. That's what's been good. Despite the magnificent strike rates of both batters, they've been able to rotate that strike with ease.
What's been interesting is, I have to make a point. One stage, Marumani was 13 from 17 deliveries. Bennett was 15 from 11, so they've accelerated. Well, that is a big attempt to get down the ground, but didn't get all of it.
JJ Smith should have gone for the dive on that one. Yeah, could have been the moment to unlock the wickets column. But it's easier said when you're up here than when you're out there. And this Bulawayo. But they need that moment, just something to get them going, Namibia here.
That is smashed. Bit of work here on the boundary for the captain. He's able to get it, to keep it to just 2. But had a long way to go to his right. And as Marumani hit that, I thought that had gone all the way through. He's done well. How's Erasmus?
Just working it leg side, and have gone for the hook shot, but just managing to pull himself out of it. Going to be 109 after 13 for Zimbabwe. With 13 overs done but 7 remaining, he's still searching for the first wicket, being in Namibia's dugout or changing room. What would you feel you need to do to really get yourself in here? Because there has to be plans that you need to have in place, despite just waiting for mistake from batters to be able to open up that wickets column.
I think we've seen already what the Namibian plan is. The last couple of overs have gone without boundaries. It's 2 overs ago where Brian Bennett got a 6-over cow corner. And that is the last boundary that we've seen since the introduction of Erasmus into the attack. He went for just 4 in his first over, and then there were 5 in the previous over. So this is, I think, how Namibia have got to proceed. Just cut down, remove the boundaries. Take away the deliveries that the Zimbabweans are finding boundaries from, and that pressure is going to create a wicket.
I'm looking to muster that away. Marumani just finds an inside edge. And captain bringing himself into the attack, hoping that he might just have the delivery, and we'll just get them 1. And as you know, 1 gives you 2, and all of a sudden you're back in this encounter. But Zimbabwe have done very, very well. You can't take that away from them at the moment.
What he's done to very different bowling styles. To Marumani, it's full into the pads or full very wide outside the line of off stump, just giving him a single. And then to Bennett, it's quicker and flatter into the wicket, not allowing him to go downtown. But this one finds the outside edge. It's taken 3 overs for Zimbabwe to find a boundary in this little spell of very good bowling from Gerard Erasmus.
Yeah, not really from the middle of the bat. Thickish outside edge, and it brings a few smiles from the Zimbabwean bench out there.
Interesting to see Skandaraza padded up. And again, it's the shorter delivery. Go to for Erasmus, and this time Bennett's able to come back for 2. And that brings up, I thought it was his 50. Brings up his 50. He's been outstanding. It's been a good partnership for the Zimbabwean openers.
Yeah, 112 opening partnership between Brian Bennett and Tadiona Marumani. Bennett gets a standing ovation from his skipper. This is the ideal start and the ideal situation that even the captain himself would love to step into the scene if called on.
Looking for the reverse sweep, but it is gone through Zane Green for buys. He set himself up to smash that over short third man inside the circle. Two boundaries for Zimbabwe in this Erasmus over. Brian Bennett has 3 international hundreds. Yet to get one in this format. Would ideally like to do that. And oh no, helped with some poor fielding. 3 boundaries in that over.
That's the harshness of T20 cricket. You have to be on your toes. You have to have your wits about it. And a slight loss of concentration can result in such errors.
Dream start for Zimbabwe. 120 for none. Projected score now 177. But Zimbabwe, having not lost a wicket, would ideally want another maybe 15 or 20 runs on top of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have the opportunity to pick up, just reach that 190 mark, which would be perfect, if not ideal. It's in the air, the leading edge, and taken finally. And finally, Namibia get the breakthrough that they've been searching for. That has taken them 14 overs. And Tediwana Shamarumani trying to pull that away, gets a top edge, and he'll have to depart.
Yeah, I think this was the right idea from Marumani. You've got to be looking to push this projected score beyond 200. And you have to take some risks to get there. The Namibians have bowled well in this little passage of play. So Zimbabwe lose their first wicket at 124 for 1. And it is Ryan Burl who makes his way out to the middle. And you can see a change in tactics here from the Zimbabweans. Ryan Burl is genuinely regarded as one of the finest strikers of a ball towards the back end of a T20 innings in the Zimbabwe lineup. And he's been promoted. Usually comes in at around 4 or 5. But today, he's been brought in with the aim of really bringing the hammer down.
Great performance by Marumani. Gets a tap on the back from his teammates up there in the changing room. But this is good from Zimbabwe. I love the adaptation. And they have decided to bring Ryan Bell up the order. He's a man who is ideal for such situations. Because really, you would really want to assert yourself just a little bit more. Accelerate, get to around 10 and over in these remaining overs that you have left. So this is a good time for Ryan Bell.
And he gets his scoring away immediately. Just a little chip into the leg side. But just talking earlier about the fact that Brian Bennett's got 3 international hundreds to his career. 2 in test matches and 1 in ODI international. That was his first, or his second international 100. His first was against Afghanistan. And then he got a ODI 100 against Ireland at Terrari Sports Club. First time he opened. But hasn't gotten one here, and he's in the position to do just that. He's going to have to play well to do that. And then the third test match 100 was in his first innings opening for Zimbabwe in a test match against England. So, but very set here. And if Zimbabwe had to get some distance beyond that projected 176, he's key.
Working at leg side. Yeah, Brian Barnett has just been a find for Zimbabwe. It's just been different from everybody else. His attitude towards the game, despite his very young age, his tenacity and the confidence that he has in his abilities. Yes, there are a bit of flaws in them, but they work well for him. They've managed to get him here and seek to just make it better.
Flaws in his technique, but what he's got the mental makeup that makes up for those flaws. He's figured out how to hide them and do well enough, despite the fact that some say he doesn't move his feet very well. Fantastic hands is first thing I noticed about Brian Bennett. Gets his hands into very good positions to hit through the ball, so doesn't need to move the feet as well as lesser hands. Players with lesser hands have to, and the ability to just trust his instincts and play. He bats quite instinctively. And then he's developed his game where sometimes that gets him into trouble. He's figured out when not to bat instinctively, which is all good signs for Zimbabwe.
Cracked away. And that'll take some stopping. And that'll be 4. A good piece of timing from Ryan Burl, really getting into his work and the job that has been asked of him. And he goes right on top of that one.
It's taken him 3 balls to find his first boundary. One of the more experienced players for Zimbabwe in this lineup. Most experienced is Sikandar Raza. And then second most experienced is Ryan Burl. And then the 2 big fast bowlers, Mzarabani and Ngarava, have played roughly the same number of T20s. Also very good to see the return of Wellington Masakadza. For 15 overs gone. 131 for 1.
Very relaxed coaching staff for Zimbabwe there. Trumpelman back into the attack and pulled away. That'll be another maximum to Brian Bennett. Really asserting himself here. Gets on top of that one. Set up nicely for a set batter and gets maximum reward.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier on. The need for Brian Bennett just to realize that he's taking his time to get going, yes, but the opportunity to score will come, and he needs to maximize on that and catch up, which he has. 64 and 37 now.
Oh, smart cricket, opening the face of the bat. And just looking to run that down to man at deep point. Strike rotation, it's key. Get a boundary and you get off strike. Tinos, we welcome you to the box, but what a start for Zimbabwe in this first T20. Brilliant opening partnership that they had between Morumani and Brian Bennett.
It was indeed, and I think especially after just taking time early on to assess the conditions, see how the pitch is playing. And I did mention it in an earlier stint that the ball probably didn't quite come onto the bat as much as Zimbabwe would have liked. Hence the reason to bowl first from Namibia. Not quite sure what to expect. But after that power play, when they had gauge conditions, I thought they've been particularly good in how they've gone about picking up the scoring rates and making sure that that run rate just increases, just below 9 at the moment.
Goes for the ramp shot. Does it well. Not enough to get it through to the boundary. They should get a couple here. Yeah, playing some audacious shots. Why not? You have a half century under your name. T20, that's vitally important start. So you have the liberty to play any shots that come to mind.
Nice to see some sprinklings of spectators in the crowd. It is a Monday morning. Just gone 20 minutes to 11. So you won't expect too many people coming in this early.
Smashed away. Oh, good save. Really just pushing it back into the field. But the running also by Zimbabwe has been good. They pick up 2 valuable runs.
Good teamwork on the mid-wicket boundary from Namibia. Just a reminder as we talk about the crowds and coming in that the next two T20 internationals, tomorrow and Thursday, will be a 1:30 start as opposed to 9:30 as today.
Up in the air, and the wind will carry it over the boundary. That'll be another maximum. He might not have timed it well, but the power behind that shot, aided with the wind blowing in his favor, gets him over the boundary for 6. And that maximum has the 16th over. Zimbabwe 149 for 1. Yeah, lovely to see crowds coming for these games in particular. Just shows you the hunger that the people of Bulawayo have for the shorter format. Last time they had T20 action was in December of 2024, Pakistan series. They get to see one between Zimbabwe and distant neighbors Namibia. Change of willow for Brian Bennett. Just looking at where Zimbabwe are, 149 for the loss of 1. And the average first inning score here at Queen's Sports Club when you're betting first is 149. Well, Zimbabwe, they have done well so far. They've reached that, and they still is 4 overs remaining in their innings. Straight. Time to perfection and onto the rooftop. Ryan Bell in action here.
Beautifully timed by Ryan Bell. Slightly too full from Volshink. And I think the Zimbabweans have realized once that ball is quite full, whether it's the spinner or the seamer, if you hit through the line of ball, you're going to get great success, and that's exactly what he's done.
Now Zimbabwe's plan just to change up their batting order seems to be working well. They've brought Ryan Bell up the order just for this particular reason. And he has gleefully accepted the opportunity, because when things are going your way in such manner, you really want to maximize the opportunity to get as many runs as possible. And also this is change of strategy in Zimbabwe's batting order, just to try out new things and see how they work out. So far, they're working well. Offside. That'll be another boundary. And this time with an offer just outside off stump, to fall again and smashed away by Ryan Bell.
It's not often you see Ryan Bell exploit the offside extra cover region, but I'll tell you what, he has absolutely crunched this. Volshink's found the going tough. He's got the wicket, but 27 and 2.2 overs.
Again. Oh, almost a blinder of a catch. And it'll be 6 runs to Ryan Bell, who's motoring here. There's been boundary after boundary from the bat of Ryan Bell.
Good move from the Zimbabwean technical side to elevate Ryan Bell up the order. We discussed whether it would be a move that they would take, and it's one that's worked quite nicely for them now. 22 and 8, Ryan Bell, and still plenty of time, 3.5 overs. 21 balls until the close of the innings.
It's taken Ryan Bell just 8 deliveries to get to a well-made 22. This just shows you, like Tino, you mentioned earlier on, how good a batting surface as the day goes by Queen's Sports Club is. Up in the air, taken this time. Yeah, just went for One too many big shots, and this time he's caught out there in that cow corner region. But you would say that the damage has been done. It's been a great cameo of 22 of 8 for Ryan Burl.
This time he picks the man. Doesn't quite hit the ball as well as he would have liked, Ryan Bull. Face closes on point of contact. And that's where he's taken away that little bit of elevation. The same combination that got the first wicket. Volshank and Lofty Eaton get the second. Zimbabwe 165 for 2.
Zimbabwe captain steps into the crease, and it'll be Sikandar Raza. He comes in at a time where his team is well set. 165 runs on the board, and plenty of deliveries in T20 still left in this Zimbabwean innings. He's also one of Zimbabwe's pinch hitters. He's in great form in a brilliant series against Sri Lanka. Thrives in such situations. What will you make of this one? Because at the current projected score, Zimbabwe have a possible target of getting to 200. It's there, it's possible. Off the mark of the first delivery. Pushing harder, they're looking for 2. Yeah, great piece of running between Brian Bennett and Sikandar Raza. Something that has been synonymous with Zimbabwe, not only in this particular encounter, but in all matches that they have played in recent time. I'm talking of Sri Lanka, South Africa, and New Zealand. They've been working hard and seeing some dividends of that hard work. Again, works the leg side. Boundaries are long, so need to be really on your toes. You have the liberty just to play it with soft hands into vacant gaps, and you can pick up a couple of runs. End of the 17th over, and Zimbabwe 169 for the loss of 2. Seventeenth over, one that just concluded. Despite losing a wicket, Zimbabwe, it's their best over, picking up 20 runs in that particular over. So definitely the message is to accelerate the scoring for Zimbabwe. Those are their intentions, and they have showed them pretty well at the start here. J.J. Smith into his third over. It's good bowling, pushing it just wide of Brian Bennett. But however, gets contact in those deep pockets and they pick up 2.
Just less of 3 overs to go in the Zimbabwean innings. The captain's walked out there, Sikandar Raza. And they'll be looking now 210 at least. If they have a very good finish to the innings, 215 plus.
Let's work through the offside again. It's a deep pocket. And they'll comfortably come back for another couple. The Bandon song. Gentleman who have taken the nod to be at every game that Zimbabwe plays. And looking to access the leg side. Came off the toe end of the bat, really not timing that one. That's Brian Bennett. Speaking of 200 plus, Tatum Moyo. I mean, if you're in Namibia's shoes, what do you need to do just to try and restrict the run flow here?
Yeah, he's gone length and he's got away with it on this occasion, going across Sikandar Raza, the new man at the crease. I don't think that's the length you want to be bowling to a Brian Bennett, who's been in for a while.
Again, it's a slower delivery, but still too wide for the umpire's liking. Despite Sikandar Raza walking across his stumps, he just pushed it a little bit further outside his off stump. That's why it was signaled as a wide. It's worked away for a single leg side. 200 would be the projected score for Zimbabwe at the current rate of just 10 and over. Tina, as an open batter, I'll pick your brains in the next over because this has been explosive from Zimbabwe. Gone straight. Really timed it very well, but he'll pick up a single to end the 18th over. So it'll be 12 deliveries to go from here going forward. 18 overs done. Zimbabwe 179 for the loss of 2. Yeah, coming to the question that I wanted to ask earlier, Tino. Zimbabwe started off quite slowly. What's been key for them to change gears to get to 179 and also with around 8 wickets remaining? What's been ideal?
Well, wickets in hand is one. And I mentioned earlier the fact that the two opening batters, Bennett in particular, and Tadiwa Nashimaramani, just took their time early on to gauge how the surface was going to play. And once they realized that anything full, you can hit through the line and get maximum results, they started to do that. I think they've run through between the wickets very well as well, in between. Huge boundaries either side here at the Queen Sports Club. So once you get the ball slightly wide of a sweeper, you've got the opportunity to come back for 2. So good running between the wickets. And then, of course, that quick fire 22 from Ryan Bull that you see there, 240. Has really set them up for where they are now, but they still need a good finish.
And looking to go straight like you just mentioned. Looking to play it as straight as ever. They pick up a single. But as much as you say that, you know, but one thing that I know that you will really attest to, the men in which Zimbabwe have played and the ability to brush off the losses that they've had in recent times and still come out and play positive cricket. That has been one of the things to really applaud for Zimbabwe. Finds Teki's outside edge that despite playing some of the big sides, you're able to come out and play freely. And freely they do, they're getting runs.
Nicely done by Sikandar Raza this, because he knows that the third man is wider there. So he's just given the ball enough elevation to get over that short third and still fine of third himself. Take a look at this. There. Just opens the face to find the gap. So deft touch from Raza. I'll come to your point now, Eli. struck firmly. Either side of Lofty Eaton, he could have got himself another boundary. Yeah, you cannot run away from the fact that it's been a very tough winter for Zimbabwe. Lots of cricket against top teams in the world. But even when you look back at that T20 international tri-series with New Zealand, South Africa, they played good cricket in periods. And they just haven't been able to be consistent throughout the innings to ensure that they put together an innings of 190. And when they've got the team on the ropes bowling first, if they have a tight power play, they release the pressure at some stage of the innings, and good teams will punish you for that. And that's what happened against South Africa and New Zealand. Much better showing in both white ball series against Sri Lanka more recently. Long off was up in the circle, so he'll get 4. But in the same instance, still some opportunities for them to put matches away, which they didn't manage to do. The most glaring on that final T20 international, 192 if I'm correct on the board, I think, and Sri Lanka managed to do that in the 18th over. If you've got 190 runs on the board and you're losing the game, you ought to be doing that in the final ball of the chase or in the final over, not with 12 plus balls remaining. So that's a concern as well. But as you say, the manner in which they're playing their cricket, the confidence is up there for all to see. That's going to be 6. That's going to be 6. It's a huge boundary down to those trees in the big screen, but Bennett clears it with ease. Approaches 100.
Oh, that's a magnificent shot from Brian Bennett. Really up in the slot. Hitting it against the wind, but didn't matter. He had enough the power and behind that to get it all the way into those fig trees. Magnificent shot. Making here, moves on to 94, Brian Bennett. One maximum away from those 3 figures.
I've been trying to find out for many years what those trees are. Fig trees, are they?
Yes, Tito.
Pretty sure you've been under there picking several over the years, Eli.
Oh, they make a beautiful canop, especially along that grass bank. No matter where you're looking at Queen Sports Club, whether it's an aerial view or a side view, magnificent shot. Brian Bennett, 1 hit away. It goes up in the air, and the keeper takes it with ease, looking to play the audacious ram shot. He'll get a fist bump from his captain from this magnificent display of power hitting as well as a bit of controlled aggression. Brian Bennett.
You know, you'll ask yourself, when you're striking the ball so well in front of the wicket, is there a need for you to play this stroke? 6 runs away from a maiden T20 International 100 and still plenty of time in the innings. A good innings nonetheless from Brian Bennett. He goes for 96 in just 48 balls. Zimbabwe 195 for 3.
Yeah, Zimbabwe lose the wicket of Brian Bennett there. Sort of an anticlimax with how things had been going. Had built himself out nicely. 94 is what he had been able to acquire and was timing it well. Just a rush of blood to the head. And in that, he loses his wicket. Last 6. Now, good ball. Slow delivery. Slow ball bouncer. It's been deemed wide by Forstam Tizwa. And 1 for the over. So 6 still remaining to go here. Last over to finish Zimbabwe's innings. Sikandar Raza on strike. Goes through the offside.
Great bit of fielding. Saraza will retain strike in this final over. Antum Nakvi to the left. Young aspiring Zimbabwean cricketer. Bucket loads of runs domestically over the last 3 or 4 seasons, as well as when he turns out for the A side.
Now coming across the stumps, Sikandaraza trying to play straight. Finds an inside edge. Just be one, and his new batting partner out there will be Tshingam Sekiwa. Yeah, plenty of scattered spectators around. Some players that have been active in the much recently ended NPL. 2 sides that represented this province, Amakosi 1 and 2, as well as Queen's Sports Club. So those players also, we're seeing them here. And looking to get off the mark, and that's just too wide for him to get any willow on that. Tashingam Sekiwa had a marvelous series versus Sri Lanka. I love the way that he has reinvented himself as a power hitter. We really see him doing much of that. But he's also a magnificent bowler, but as a finisher, he's just taken up that role and has done pretty well in it. Down the track, working it leg side. It's a deep pocket. And they're looking for 2. Now they'll settle for 1. And Zimbabwe now, well, pushing past that 200 mark. That'll be wide. Three deliveries remaining. Tino, how many more would Zimbabwe be comfortable getting here?
Yeah, well, they'll want another couple of boundaries. Here's one of them for Sikandaraza. They approach that 200 mark. If they can get another, they get past there, and I think they'll be quite happy with that score.
Well, the man that they would want on strike, Sikandaraza, to get to 200 is on strike. And look at how he picked that one. Yeah, it was bowled stump to stump, but just a little bit too full. And all he had to do was just to pick a spot, and boy, did he pick one beautifully. And working it leg side on that square leg boundary. A slower delivery. Disappointed with himself there, Sikandaraza, because really, it would have been ideal. Zimbabwe have breached the 200 mark. I do apologize for the graphics there. It misled us a bit. But Zimbabwe well past 200, on 204. With one more delivery to go here. A bit of instructions from the captain. Well, the last delivery of the Zimbabwean innings. Next side, that'll be wide. Zimbabwe will accept that. Plenty of extras in this final over. 4 of them. And it's been a very good over for Zimbabwe. 12 runs off it with a delivery to go. Goes big. That's high and up. And that will be into the stands. What a way to end Zimbabwe's innings. Sikandar Raza finishes off things with a maximum and a well-timed one. And this will see Zimbabwe finish off loaded 20 overs, having amassed a mammoth of 211 runs.
I think at the toss when Sikandar Raza lost and you'd asked him if he would take 211, I think he would have said most certainly. Just the 3 wickets to fall. Contributions literally from all the batters that had an opportunity for Zimbabwe this morning. So there's the scorecard. Brian Bennett, highest score in T20 internationals, falling 6 short of 100. Marumani back-to-back half centuries for him now in T20, 62 and 50. And then the cameos from Ryan Burl, 22 and 9, and the captain Sikandar Raza, 23 and 11. 211 for 3.
Seven bowlers used in total by Namibia, but only 2 were able really to make an impact. The standout will be Alex Volshank, who finished off with figures of 2 wickets for 37 runs in the 3 overs that he bowled, and Robin Trumpelman picked up a solitary wicket. A little bit on the expensive side, 1 for 52. Everybody quite expensive in that occasion. An economy of all above 7 and over. That's how Zimbabwe have been explosive, amassing 211 runs.
112. It's not 112.
17 by 2, 34.
34 by
By 3.
102. Yeah, well, welcome back to Queen's Sports Club, Zimbabwe versus Namibia. What is an exciting morning for Zimbabwe, especially the huge total. Of course, Sikandara's men, especially Marumani, Bennett, and Ryan Brill, haven't set up a platform. It's all for Namibia to do now. It's all for Namibia to chase. Milan Krier and Jan Freiling going up front for the Namibian Eagles. It's a tall task here for Namibia. And of course, this series, all a part of preparations for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Africa qualifier to be hosted in Harare at Harare Sports Club and Takashinga Cricket Club. These two teams having decided to put 3 matches just before that tournament. Those are the African countries also joining: Tanzania, Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya. We all know what happened a couple of years ago in Windhoek. Zimbabwe missing out on a sport to Namibia and Uganda. Wellington Masakaza taking the first over here for Zimbabwe. Eli, your thoughts on that first innings?
Thanks, Dixon. That was a great exhibition by Zimbabwe. Now failed to build up an innings. And I think they did pretty well, especially the opening partnership of Brian Bennett and Tadio Marumani. Started off quite slowly, but they were able to assert themselves and really got into a rhythm of scoring regularly. And they did beautifully even towards the latter stages. And now it's time to defend. Outside edge. And it gets Namibia underway in their chase, looking for 212. Herod Erasmus off the mark.
Yeah, Krier and Freiling. We're looking for a good start here. The two run very well between the wickets, but it is 212 that is needed. Yeah, he pounces on that one, Freiling. Chasing 212, this is how you need to start. There's no time for waiting around. That's 4 runs.
Wellington Masakaza really pitching up that one a little bit too full. And Freiling, he really gleefully accepts the invitation and plays it just over mid-off.
That's a quick one. Straight to the skipper for a single. As I was mentioning to you, Eli, these two very quick between the wickets. And I think they'll set the tone for this chase for Namibia. Freiling and Krier.
Floating it up there, Wellington Masakaza. Really, it's just looking to toss it up, inviting him to go for the big shots. It worked well a couple of deliveries ago. And so you find that there's Cal corner and long off. Quicker delivery. Starting off with the pace off the ball, that's Zimbabwe. Going to Wellington Masakadza. Change in tactics.
Yeah, on a bended knee, Krier. Yeah. Masakadza left shouting, but nothing comes off of it. There's the first one done. And Namibia off to a decent start. It's 7 for no loss. There you have Namibia, Erasmus, Volskenk, Scholz, Leiche, Brassel, Freilink, Smit, Krier, Lofty, Eaton, Trampelman, and Green. Team packed with all-rounders. Richard Garava to take the second one for Zimbabwe. Oh, uppercut. A lot of width and over. Krier finds the boundary. A little too wide here from Garava, don't you think?
Loosener from Ngarawa and gets punished on that occasion. Mill's trying to get into his rhythm. That's his figures. And list A, T20I. Much better comeback. Good response from Richard Ngarawa. As much as Zimbabwe really have a lot of runs on the board that the bowlers can work with, they really want to put up a polished act on both fronts. And they did so well with the bat now. They really need to do so well also with the ball. There'll be plenty of expectations from Zimbabwean supporters as well as and the rest of the coaching staff and the captain as well.
Yeah, not waiting till ready to go, but he should be able to pick up two. And they do so. Garava can't help himself but come a little tighter now, especially after that opening delivery.
Yeah, when you open up with a boundary first up, it really puts you under pressure throughout the rest of the over. You'll need to be very disciplined in the rest of the over. Not that you don't have to be. Oh, that's a good bounce. Just back off a length. Went big on him. Striking him on the thumb there. That's the variation that Richard Ngarawa brings in. He will push one right across the left-hander, but then he has also the ability to draw his length a little bit back. And the height that he possesses, just back of a length, it rise up sharply on you.
Yeah, 149 matches yet from Garava. 3 5-wicket hauls. And a good average. This one carries through. That is Richard Garava. Once he just gets the rhythm going, an exciting bowler to watch.
Now, Richard Ngarawa has been growing in leaps and bounds from the time that he started turning up for Zimbabwe. And it has been exhibited in him making the ICC T20 Team of the Year on 2 consecutive occasions. It's been a magnificent performer for Zimbabwe as well.
Oh, that's a quick one. I mentioned it earlier on. Lightning quick between the wickets here. Freilink and Krier. And that's the second one down. It's 14 for no loss. A decent start here for Namibia.
A Zimbabwe squad full in the day. Sikandar Raza and leading the side. Blessing Zarabani, Brad Evans, as well as Ryan Bell and Wellington Masakadza, Richard Ngarawa. Those will be the key players in Zimbabwe's bowling attack. As we see, Blessing Zarabani into the attack. Up in the air. And that's up and over mid-off. And that run away for 4. He went for the drive. It was in the air for a while, but just wide of mid-off and to pick up a boundary. Good start to the over.
I like how Milan Krier is back in his ability here. That's high risk, high yield for Namibia. Because when you need 194 runs in 107 deliveries, you need to be able to back yourself.
Now going for another booming off drive. Much quicker from Zarabani this time around. Yeah, rightly said about the plan for Namibia, because what they also need to utilize is the power play. Those fielding restrictions, they need to come into play. You need to be able to make it count, because once the field is spread, it becomes a little bit much more difficult to get scoring opportunities, especially for boundaries.
It's taken. Krier doesn't last long. Zarabani strikes. Ricochets off Taylor's gloves and completed. Well, that's the demise of Krier. He had a good start. He was looking good, but just could not sustain that pace and bounce from Zarabani.
A little bit of extra bounce for Blessing Zarabani there. Gets the faintest of ages. Trying to play the ramp shot, but only gets a faint age. And to take a couple of juggles between the keeper and first slip. Zimbabwe strike, they pick up their first wicket. Namibia lose their first. They'll be 18 for 1.
Yeah, what Namibia needs to avoid here is losing wickets in the power play. Looking at Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe had 43 runs in their power play and hadn't lost a wicket. And they're just at a platform, of course, for Marimani and Bennett. There's a launch pad for everyone else to come and bat on, and they had a great partnership too.
Yes, images from the grandstand. You have a lovely view of proceedings here. What you say is very important for Namibia. Zimbabwe took their time to build up their innings. They didn't lose any wicket in the power play, but they were able to accelerate with each and every specific stage of the game. Namibia have the ability to also do that. Another shot, booming drive, misses that one outside Ostam. So the tragedy that is there for Namibia, they might think that they need to go helter-skelter right from the start. And in that you present wicket-taking opportunities, especially with the quality of bowlers that Zimbabwe possess in Ngarawa and Zarabani, who thrive on such occasions. So you need to have a look at conditions first, assess it. Yes, keep the scoreboard ticking, then launch when you really have settled and had an understanding of the circumstances that you have.
You're quite right. However, as well, Namibia won the toss, decided to bowl. So there is some level of understanding of what the conditions are. Hence, you could see that approach from Milan Krier as well as Jan Freiling coming in hard. There's a bit of baking now on the surface. So I think it's less to do with conditions but application.
Such a key word. Application. Now you apply yourself.
That's the end of the third. A really good over here for Zimbabwe. Started off in the boundary. But Mzarabani managed to take back control, picking up a wicket, an all-important wicket of Malan Krier. Third one done. It's 18 for 1. Gara to continue second. That's given as a wide. Taylor a bit unhappy with that.
The umpire Aino Chabi having some little exercise. One thing to note about Aino Chabi is one of the two standing umpires. Half century of T20 internationals for Aino Chabi. Has done well as one of Zimbabwe's leading umpires, partnered with Forstam Tizwa.
Yeah, swing at it, Freilink. That's a boundary. They'll take what they can get, especially in the power play. Namibia wasn't convincing, but early on we also saw Marumani doing the same.
Yeah, top edge. I say fortune favors the brave. And sometimes you need to take them no matter how they come. That will settle the nerves. You'll feel a little bit lighter and you survive such.
Yeah, full toss. Dispatched. A lot of work to come across. The easy comeback for 2.
Yeah, great work by Tashingam Sekiwa. It was a deep square leg. Very athletic in the field. Tashingam Sekiwa covered much ground. This is the thing that is synonymous with Zimbabwe's grounds. They have deep pockets. Sometimes really you don't have to hit it hard looking for the boundary. Just place it in a vacant gap. You have the time and ability to pick up 2 valuable runs. And those runnings, they add up a lot. Goes for the big shot again. And this time he'll pick up a boundary. Tashingam Sekiwa, no chance of stopping that one. That'll be 4. Just a little swivel and plays it past shot fine leg.
A little too short here. Didn't really come up, did it, from Garava. And Freilink was quite strong on the onside. And Namibia will be working hard to give themselves a fighting chance here. $11 off the over. We're just halfway.
Following it. That's good work by Richard Ngarava. Good comeback. He hasn't really gotten into his rhythm, Richard Ngarava. It's been a little bit expensive. They want to do better. 18 runs conceded and only 1.4 overs that is bowled. That's not something that you associate Richard Ngarava with in terms of figures.
Yeah, again in same fashion, but this time around, this protection. Mzarabani on it. And only restrict them to a single.
Richard Ngarava has struggled with his lines there, bowling to a left-hander. If you look at the balls that have been dispatched to the boundary, or the ones that they've been able to score runs off him, if he had been bowling to right-handers, those would be magnificent deliveries cutting across the right-hander. But because on the other side, he calls a left-hander, he's just struggled really to find the right line to bowl to him.
Yeah, drop and run here from Lofty Eaton. Just a lack of awareness. They could easily have come back for another one, But look at the Zimbabwe players, 4 of them chasing that ball that ricocheted from the stumps. That's 4 done. That's 32 for 1. Still an evenly poised power play, even though Namibia has lost Malan Krier.
Required run rates as 11.3 currently. They're doing at 7.7, just a touch under 8. It's not a bad place to be. It's always something that you can improve on after you get settled. You need to have some sort of partnership going. Yes, you've lost a wicket earlier on, but there's still an opportunity to give yourself a chance. Up and over. And that'll be a good chase from Sekiwa. And it was struck well, but however, is not able really to parry that one back into field of play. That would be a boundary, a welcome one for Namibia.
Yeah, a good start here to the 5th for Namibia. Really cool after Eaton. Fees on width. There's a decent chase though to the boundary. And just in that last moment, failed to push it back to Sikandar Raza.
Yeah, disappointing after doing all that hard work. Playing his shots. As Lofty Eaton really is not timing it from the middle of the bat, but I understand the type of play that he's trying to employ. He's trying to be a little bit more aggressive towards Blessing Mzarabani and try and hit him out of his rhythm. Man, that's such a difficult thing to do, considering the height of Blessing Mzarabani, the bounce that he's been able to extract from the surface.
And this one is hit hard, it's hit straight. But it just makes it to the boundary. It was a good chase here from Sikandar Raza. And you're right earlier when you said that Lofty Eaton is just trying to get Mzarabani out of his rhythm.
Yeah, valiant chase from Sikandar Raza. Just ran out of steam towards that rough and patch area, that practice area, those grass nets. Goes again. That'll be another one. Everybody stands still. That'll be 4. It just shows you the power that Nicole Lofty-Eaton possesses there. And save your legs, everybody. It's been a good over, this one for Namibia. 3 boundaries, 2 consecutive 4s. And they're playing positive cricket, you would say, here in Namibia, asserting themselves. They're really giving themselves a chance here.
Yeah, you can see a lot of chat going on in the Zimbabwean team already. A lot of field changes. Marimani comes in and Garava goes to the boundary at fine leg. This one is hit equally straight, equally hard, and it'll reap the same result. It's quadruple 4s here, and you can just tell from that body language of Mzarabani.
That's a good shot. Of all the boundaries that have been played in this particular over, this one, a shot of conviction, really driving that one straight down the ground, just a touch away from mid-on, but it was well hit. There's been a plethora of boundaries in this particular over. Shorter delivery. This one will be wide. Still, that's extras. That's an extra to Namibia. They will accept that.
I can see immediately it's calm in the Namibian dugout, because this over just shifted the pressure and brought back some hope. 164 required from 91 deliveries. One more to go in this over. They'll drop and run. As well as the 6 over. 5 done. 49 for 1. And Lofty Eaton here on a flyer.
And last over the power play. And we'll find that there'll be a change in the bowling attack. Brad Evans will come in. But it's been a great exhibition of how really to bring yourself back into this one. And they lost the first wicket. Milan Kruger went for 13. But after that, Jan Vryling and Nicole Lofty-Eaton have been explosive. As I welcome Darlington Matamanazo back in the box.
And we welcome Brad Evans for the first time this afternoon. And he starts with a dot. But what Lofty-Eaton and Jan Vryling have done is they've ensured that Namibia have not fallen behind where Zimbabwe were. Yes, they have lost 1 wicket more than Zimbabwe had at this stage, but they're right in contention at the moment. Oh, that's smashed. That is smashed away.
Oh, this is how Nicole Lofty-Eaton has stepped to the crease and has been playing freely. That one just driven through the offside. A diving Richard Ngarava not able to save that boundary.
It's just a little fall this time from Brad Evans. Allows him to really get the hands through the ball. And he's got a boundary early in this over. So the pressure is on Evans. Oh, that's a good response.
Current run rate for Namibia just under 10, 9.6 required, just under 11 at 10.9. They have really been up there, matching what's required to the target that they're facing of 212.
He's used his feet. He didn't quite find the middle of the bat, but the outfield at Queens is really quick today. So that is 2 boundaries off this Evans over, and there's still 2 balls left in it.
Yeah, we've seen this in this innings quite a lot. Now for Nicole Lofty-Eaton, quite a number of runs, not really coming from the middle of the bat, but he's been able to get boundaries, utilizing those fielding restrictions inside the power play. Only 2 fielders allowed outside that 30-yard circle, and he's made great use of that.
This is the last over in the power play. He wants a few boundaries. He wanted a few boundaries in this over. He's got 8 runs so far. Ideally, a 4 or a maximum to close this one off would be the perfect conclusion to this power play. And then Namibia have to start to believe they can do this run chase. Picks him up. 1 bounce, 2 bounces into the fence. And it's 12 from the first Brad Evans over. And it is 61 for 1 after the power play.
Now that was a well-timed shot. Nicole Lofty-Eaton moves into 30 from 16. Just shows you the mental aptitude of these Namibian batters, playing confidently, playing according to their beliefs and attributes that they possess. Very powerful when it comes to anything that is pitched fuller. And they're not afraid to play their shots. They're not afraid to take chances. Yes, they have had some fortuitous runs that have come their way, some through thick outside edges, but they will take them all the way.
So it's Brian Bennett who's going to take the first over out of the power play. And generally, this is where Zimbabwe have been very, very good. They've got a couple of very good fielders in the outfield. And then it's the use of the bowlers around Sikandar Raza, who's key in this little period of play. And that's in the air for a little bit, but it runs out to Tashingam Sekiwa, one of the key fielders mentioned earlier. He does a lot of the hard work in the outfield. Ryan Pearl does some of the hard work as well. And then Tadiwa Nashe Marumani, when he's not keeping, he's a very, very good fielder. He's quick across the ground and has a good arm. Ah, that's beautiful. Little shimmy away to the leg side, hitting with the spin against the off spinner.
Yeah, it's a marvelous cricket shot. Gave himself room leg side in order to access that offside. It's a longer side of the boundary, that offside region that he's looking at. But he was able just to have enough the contact and power behind that ball to access it. And he reaps the reward with the boundary.
He's gone again, but this time Ryan Pearl anticipates a lot better. He was running away to his right as soon as Lofty Eaton moved away towards the leg side. And that is great anticipation in the outfield.
Now backing his abilities there, Lofty gives himself room, leg side. Down the track. Doesn't really time it well. He was looking to play it straight, but only manages to find Ryan Bell, who's in that long off position.
Just want to point out the way Nicol Lofty Eaton is hitting over extra cover. He's not trying to overhit it. That is why he's been so successful so far in this innings. He's really keeping a very good shape, looking for timing over power and placement to go with the timing.
Not going for the reverse, doesn't get it. And it's a good over. 9 runs off it. And it'll be the end of the 7th. And it'll be Namibia 70 for 1 after 7.
So they're right up there with what's required of them. But it's always when we get to 10 and we start to go, try always to imagine it as climbing to the peak of a hill. And 10 is at the top, and then you start to go downhill from 11 onwards. Every over that you don't get exactly the run requires, it's amazing how quickly it adds up. And then the introduction of Sikandar Raza. This is generally what he does very well, is bring control to opposition run chasers, just pegs them back. Doesn't need to take a lot of wickets.
Pierces through the offside. Sweeper will clean that. That's a big pocket. They pick up 2 comfortably.
Marumani does the fielding.
You just got to feel that Zimbabwe, in order for them to come back into this game, like you said, doesn't really need to take wickets, but just dot balls will build the pressure. Cuts it well. And again, Marumani will be called into action. Keeps it down to 1 this time.
This time the placement wasn't as good as the first one. Marumani just had to move 5 meters to his right, his strong side, so he was able to pick up and throw in almost one movement. When he has to go 15 meters to his left, his weak side, and then reposition his whole body to get the throw, there's always 2 on there.
That one aerial for a moment, but there's no fielder in that square leg region. Brian Bennett is a deep backward square, while Mzarabani at fine leg. It just falls safely.
This is not accidental from Sikandar Raza. He has Bennett, Sekiwa, and Ryan Pearl in the danger areas towards Cow Corner. And both Freyling and Lofty Eaton are avoiding those areas. If you notice, they've been going through the offside looking to try and probe at what they see as weaknesses.
Straight to one. Sikandar Raza provides that breakthrough that Zimbabwe were looking for. A slightly quicker delivery, flatter projection. Misses that one totally. Now was Jan Freiling, and is found leg before wicket.
Yeah, there it is. It is the carom ball from Sikandar Raza. So it was going the other way as it pitched on off stump, carrying on to hit leg stump. Important ability to take wickets consistently for Zimbabwe as Namibia are 74 for 2.
Now, this is what we spoke about when we say that a little bit of pressure in terms of restricting the run flow, the traditional trajectory in which they've been scoring runs. They decided to access the leg side, and in the attempt to do that, it was something that was out of character, and it resulted in that wicket. Sikandar Raza.
I'm going to point out the bottom right of your screen. It's 2-1-1 dot. That's what takes the wickets, is that no boundaries early in that over. And suddenly the pressure is on Namibia. Fourth best all-rounder in T20 international cricket, Sikandar Raza. And number 1 in 50 overs in the ratings for all-rounders. So has some skill set to put on display this afternoon.
I love the use of some skill set.
That's 8 overs gone. 74 for 2.
Well, many might be asking, why was this a morning game? It's largely attributed that when we have T20 cricket in Zimbabwe, we played late in the afternoon. But T20 World Cup qualifiers on in just roughly nearly 2 weeks' time. There'll be plenty of morning games as well. So you need to put yourself in those kind of similar conditions that you will play early morning and see how you will do in those conditions.
It's a different type of game, isn't it, when you're batting first, but in particular in the morning. You have to give the early part of the power play to the opponents. More about running well, dabbing and running well early on, playing slightly more traditional cricket shots, and then once you've got the pace of the wicket. Oh, that is a good one. Oh, no, it isn't. Richard Ngarava has moved very, very well for a big man to his weak side, his right side, to take the third wicket that falls.
Well, one wicket brings another for Zimbabwe. They pick up their third wicket. A magnificent catch from Richard Ngarava. And the danger man, Nicole Lofty-Eaton, trying to heave that one leg side, finds a well-placed short fine leg in Richard Ngarava. Wellington Masakadza strikes. Namibia will be 74 for the loss of 3.
What they've done here as well is they've lost 2 wickets without adding to their score. And when you've got a big run chase, it's losing wickets in clusters is the most difficult thing to recover from. Captain is out there. And he's joined by Zane Green, the wicketkeeper batter. So, real opportunity in this crisis to get out there and find the winning partnership.
He gets off the mark. Plays it straight down to long off. President Zalabani is operating. Sikandar Raza, the man in your picture, as he see him just changing sides. I think that when he brought himself into the attack, that was the turnaround of things. He slowed down the scoring rate of Namibia. And in that, wicket-taking opportunities have presented themselves.
It's actually funny how through this inning so far, Namibia have gotten a boundary in the first two deliveries of every over, up until the introduction of Sikandar Raza, and then 2 wickets fall immediately. Yes, some of them were off the outside edge, off top edges, but it was always a boundary early in the over, so you know you're going to get close to 10 runs in an over without really trying. But Masakadze as well has done well. Just 3 runs from this over, and a very important wicket as well. 77 for 3.
Now, this is the betting card so far for Namibia. Milan Kruger went for 13, Jan Freiling 21. Nicole Lofty-Eaton was looking very dangerous, 38 from 24. Was quite explosive, a strike rate of 158. But all of those names that I've just mentioned, they're back up in the changing room. 2 fairly new batters out there. Now they need to come up with a partnership and a formula for chasing this mammoth task of 212.
And what they've also got to do is they can't allow Zimbabwe to get through a couple of overs without any boundaries. 3-4 overs without boundaries here. Just dot balls and a lot of singles. Suddenly the run rate's going to shoot up. Another dot ball from Sikandar Raza.
Every dot ball will matter. Well, he's having an early lunch. Looks like a chef, though.
How many chilies were in that bowl? 3 or 4 really big chilies in that red bowl. There we go.
1, 2, 3. I count 3. Can you make out that dish?
I don't know. That's one of those to each his own. Whenever you see chilies going into a dish that small for just one person, it's an acquired taste. But Sikandar Raza is doing a good job here.
A superb job. He's into his second over. A wicket to his name. And so far, only 7 runs give it away. And boundaries have been hard to come by, but this time they find one, despite the effort from Tashinkam Sekiwa. Now, he really did the hard work on that one, but was not able to keep it into the field of play.
Yeah, he's gotten such a good position to get the power through this shot. And Tashinkam Sekiwa is quick, had a long way to go. Could have done a little better here, but wasn't able to keep it in play. And then that boundary allows them to stroke it down to long off for the single. Carrying in the right direction for Namibia again. 8 from that over. 85 for 3. 96 for Brian Bennett. Sets up a big total for Zimbabwe, but they've still got to try and defend it. All that.
Nicely played. Just uses the pace of the delivery. Gerrit Erasmus. What's very apparent is that this has turned out to be a very good batting track. It didn't look like it would be too far apart from that. You just feel that the decision from Namibia to bowl first is more from a case of not sure what to expect here at the Queen Sports Club.
Yeah, we've seen no seam movement. We've seen no spin as yet at Queen Sports Club. Suits Wellington Masakadza perfectly fine. Has bowled here on many occasions and understands what is available to him. His very subtle changes in pace and his length. Generally uses the angle at left-handers from around the wicket to try and take away strikes into the leg side. And has a plan.
Masakadza coming back into the Zimbabwe side after a while, suffering from injury. He's been quite good so far. A couple of boundaries in his first over, but he's brought himself back into contention quite nicely. A couple of balls to go in his third over, 1 to go in his third over now, and just 4 runs from it. So crucial, Darlington, isn't it, for somebody who's been out to get back into the team and to perform very quickly, just so that sense of belonging comes back.
Also so critical the point he's come in. The partnership he plays with Sikandar Raza in these middle overs has been reason why Zimbabwe get into very good positions regularly in T20 internationals, because they get through these overs very, very quickly. You look up and 5 overs are gone. 91 for 3.
I'll test your general knowledge. Eli tells me that the big trees to our far right there are a bunch of fig trees. Do you know what that is?
I'd like to think it's a flamboyant of some sort. It's just a little early in the season. Does it have big red flowers?
Well, I can't see from here.
Well, it's going to have big red flowers probably in October.
Oh, what a great answer.
As it starts to seed.
I can't argue with that.
Before the rainy season. But I get the feeling it's a flamboyant. Those are Cape figs, that I know. Google is wonderful.
Yeah, they add to the beautification and the aesthetics of this Queen Sports Club. Such a wonderful venue.
Best time of the year to be under those trees is in the summer in Zimbabwe. Coolest place in the ground. There's generally a breeze that blows from the eastern end of the ground. Oh, that is a great shot from the Namibian captain. Oh, he's got it straight as a die. He gets his first maximum.
Yeah, just gives himself a bit of room, and he strikes this nicely. Back over Raza's head. You could tell Raza's reaction straight away. He knew that he's got all of this one. He'll be the danger man for Zimbabwe, the captain.
He's looked unfazed, hasn't he? Just walked in, took his couple of deliveries to get off the mark, and then played a really authoritative back foot Square drive off Sikandar Raza to get his first boundary. And he's gone downtown to get a maximum. 19 from just 13.
Good running. This was the other thing we saw in the Zimbabwean innings. Yes, they managed to get boundaries after assessing the pitch and understanding how they can go about playing the big shots, but at the start of the innings and all the way through, they still ran very well. And that's certainly something Namibia can do for themselves.
Brings up the 100 with that too. And what they've also done is they've maintained a good tempo despite losing 3 wickets. Very similar to where Zimbabwe were after 12 at 102 for 3. Well, this is good captaincy, in my humble opinion, from Sikandar Raza. He's getting Wellington Masakadza. He's been out for a while to just bowl through his 4. The ball his last one, he's been good. Just 16 runs and a wicket from his bowling so far. That's off the pad.
You bring up a valid point. And as much as, yes, these 3 matches for Zimbabwe and Namibia are crucial. They want to win this. They want to go into the qualifiers with as much momentum as possible. These 2 squads are the 2 that will take part in that qualifier. But as you say, for somebody like Wellington Masakadza who's been out, he's got to get through his 4 overs in all 3 matches, because this is the only amount of game time he's got leading into those important qualifiers. And you'd like to test him as much as possible as well.
Well, that's cut away. This is beautiful from Herald Erasmus. He's just allowed it to come onto him. And really, really soft hands to get that deft touch behind square. He moves to 23 from 15.
Just the timing. Just waited and waited, because it was the quicker one from Masakadza, so he knew he could use the pace. Good awareness from Erasmus.
And the other thing you don't want to do with a bowler coming back from injury is have him bowl in those final 5 overs. It's the most difficult period in a run chase for any bowlers, but the brass band is keeping things lively at Queen's Sports Club.
It can only be in the city of Kings and Queens. That kind of enjoyment on a Monday morning at a cricket match. Lovely to see. You can expect tomorrow and Thursday, when you got afternoon matches, to have some bigger crowds and a lot more enjoyment for them.
Any local on our commentary panel, Eli Tamireb says Kings and Queens don't work on Monday mornings.
I guess those are the Kings and Queens he's talking about. I think we'll find that tomorrow and Thursday afternoon especially, maybe no Kings and Queens work on those days.
Setting up to be an absolute thriller. Games between Namibia and Zimbabwe are always close and exciting. 110 for 3. Raza beginning his final over. Oh, he's gone again. It's going to take some catching. It's going to need something spectacular. Dion Myers can't catch up to it. But this time, he's gone a little flatter when Erasmus has given himself a little bit of room outside leg stump.
Just had enough on it to elude Dion Myers, who's one of the quicker Zimbabwean fielders. Disappointed Raza, but it was difficult with the spin. Zane Green looking to go through extra, but with the extra spin from Raza, that one just running away from the backward point fielder. And that rate now getting close to 15.
Oh, that is a great response from Zane Green. Didn't need to get it in the middle of the bat because the outfield here is so quick, but it is clearing the two fielders behind square on the offside. That was the most important fact there.
Calculated from Zane Green. And he's picked the right ball to play the shot to. Got himself into position early. It was high up on the bat, but enough on it to get to the boundary.
Now this is that end of the game where every over behind the required run rate really hurts. And then you need to need really spectacular overs mixed into overs at the required. But this has gone straight up, and it's Wellington Masakadza who's underneath it, and he's done well. It nearly got away from him, but he was so beautifully balanced and watched it well. He was able to hold on to it. And it is the captain, Erasmus, who goes for 26 from 19. Namibia in some trouble here. 118 for 4.
It's the arm ball from Raza, and that's why he's got the leading edge. It just shaped back away from the right-hander. He's one of the best catchers of a high ball in the Zimbabwean team, Masakadza. He won't pass up an opportunity like that. Namibia, 118 for 4.
Wily operator, Sikandar Raza. Really the player you want to be needing a couple of boundaries and an over from. And he's taken a wicket as a result. 14 overs gone. 118 for 4. Well, if something is working, why change it? I think is the thinking from Sikandar Raza here. His spinners have really pushed that required run rate up to nearly 16. So Ryan Pearl is going to get a ball. That's gone against the turn. He's done well to get it down there. But Blessing Zarabani is able to keep it down to just one.
He's shown the propensity to just give himself room and look to go that extra cover region up and over Zane Green. So good to see that Zarabani at a long off is wide. Ryan Burl gets an opportunity. And what a role he could play in the upcoming qualifiers for Zimbabwe.
Yeah, looked in really good touch with bat. 22 from just 9 in his little cameo. Really accelerated the back end of the Zimbabwean innings. And he's going to have a ball here at a critical moment. He can get through this over quickly and cheaply.
Yeah, that rate now getting out of hand. It's above 16.
Well, that is what beautifully struck. Oh, no, not really. It wasn't beautifully struck. That wasn't off the middle. Just from up here, it looked like it had gone all the way. And it was some pretty indifferent fielding from Zarabani. Allows the boundary.
I think what he thought was there was going to be a bit more bounce and the ball would get to him a lot sooner. It looks like he's timed his jump wrong. Yeah, have a look at that. The ball's just slowed down when it's hit the ground.
And this time he finds the extra cover boundary. Two very important boundaries for Namibia here. But I'm going to need another one. And ideally it has to be the maximum.
Zane Green keeps giving himself room to the leg side so he can play those kind of strokes. Zimbabwean bowler's got to be aware of that.
That's 15 gone. 11 from that Ryan Pearl over. 129 for 4. Wonderful area in at Queen Sports Club to have a beverage. A few shady spots around. And that is where the brass band has kept us alive and excited. As Namibia need 83 from 5 overs to win this match. Brad Evans is back into the attack. Wonderful shot again from Zane Green. Greets Brad Evans with a boundary. Cheeky. Reverse sweep.
It's given as a no boy as well. Brad Evans a foot fault. So that's 5 runs here for Namibia and it's a free hit.
Zimbabwe has been having some concerns about the last 5 overs. There's been a couple of times where they've been in control of games and been expensive. And that is just going to be, should just be 1 run. Ryan Pearl runs in from long on.
Yeah, Green not really making full use of that opportunity of a free hit.
JJ Smith just getting started. Hasn't found a boundary yet in his innings. Just 2 deliveries.
Good work of wrist here from Smith. They'll settle for a single. But Darlington here, with Namibia, whichever way this match goes, Namibia shot some great signs in how they've been explosive, especially through Lofty Eaton. And Jan Freiling right up at the top. Chasing 200. They brought a lot of intensity. And there still is just about 5 overs remaining.
If I have to be really critical, it was the period where they lost 2 wickets, losing wickets in clusters with big run chases. Very difficult to recover from that. What that means is now when you split the runs required, 35 from 27, 36, 76 from 28 is easier, because that means 38 from 14 for each player who is coming in. And that's not going all the way. Tadiwa Nashimarumani juggles it first, but it's into those deep pockets towards backward square leg and cow corner when you're batting as a right-hander. Very long boundaries. Long way to clear those. And JJ Smith's not able to do so.
No, it's all trouble now for Namibia. And just coming to the back of me, praising on how they pitched up in the intensity. JJ Smith. And there's a saying that goes in Namibia, if Smith sees it, he hits it. However, on this occasion, not really getting full wheeler to that one. And Marumani doing the work in the deep. And you mentioned earlier about these pockets on this field.
Very difficult to clear the boundaries there. You've got to get absolutely perfect contact when you're hitting towards backwards square leg, over extra cover if you're right-handed or left-handed, and towards cow corner. Because to deepen into corners in those directions, and so it can be very difficult to clear the boundary in those areas.
Yeah, the demise of JJ Smith brings in Ruben Trumpelman. Also an experienced all-rounder. I've mentioned it before that he's been hitting the ball quite well lately. Performed really well with the bat in Canada.
I was wondering, see Brendan Taylor, who's keeping today, signaling towards his head to Brad Evans. It was clearly a signal to Brad Evans. I'm wondering if he was saying, hit him with the bouncer, or you got to think this one through, mate. It's a very, very interesting signal between the keeper and his bowler.
Of course, a lot of experience from Brandon Taylor. One more to go. And it's to the Ian man, Zane Green.
Yeah, work for Marumani. Just keeps it down to 2, but that required run rate was just, when you sat down to join me in this commentary stint, was around 15. Now it's gone to 18. Every single over that you don't get near or beyond 18, it just accelerates away from Namibia.
Yeah, haven't said that. 16 down, 140 for 5. Zane Green right now is the Eid man, but he needs the support of Ruben Trumpelman. Of course, Erasmus and Smith couldn't really help him much. And of course, Namibia losing that all-important wicket that was shaping this game to be an interesting one and putting pressure on Zimbabwe. Jan-Nicole Lofty Eaton. 72 required from 24 deliveries. And a required run rate of 18. Green has to fire. And Trumpelman has to fire almost immediately.
Zarabani into the attack. looking to go into the wicket. Can be a really effective delivery when it's coming from 6'8".
Yeah, interesting field sits here from Sikandar Raza. Now this one goes way wide here from Zarabani. He's looking for that leg stump Yorker, it seems.
Yeah, another change in the field. Brad Evans on the third man boundary. He's brought up into the circle. And Wellington Masakadza sent along off, which suggests that we're going to see a few more inside the block hole now. A lot fuller is the target for Zarabani. There we go, but that's into the slot. That's not the block hole. And the big lad, Ruben Trumpelman, smashes this one out the ground.
It's full, it's straight. It's in Trumpelman's arc. He hits it. It goes through that little gap on the field, bounces once, and goes outside this stadium. And that just goes also to show you how competitive Namibia can be. And no matter what happens today, I think Namibia will be happy with their performance. For Zimbabwe, not really sure if they would have ticked all the boxes, especially with their strike bowlers.
No, I have to agree with you. I don't think that Listing Zarabani is the kind of bowler who, at this stage of the game, should be 1 for 29 from 2.2. That's more than 10 runs and over. Really worrisome form for Zimbabwe's premier fast bowler. Just a few weeks away from their first qualifying match.
And you hit a very good point there. Just a couple of days away from the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifiers. And if your strike bowler is 29 from a couple of these deliveries from 2.2 overs, if now there's something more to play for and there's pressure, quality side like Uganda might cause problems. A much better year from Zarabani.
He's changed the line. He's gone a little wider this time, trying to stay away from Ruben Trumpelman's hit zone. Went for the Yorker into the line of the stumps, got smashed out the ground, so probably not going to repeat that. But Yorker about a foot outside the line of the off stump seems to be the best option from Zarabani.
Yeah, nice and hard, only a single to the skipper. It also just goes to show you how well that Namibian batting lineup is structured. You still have Volskank to come in. You still have Banner Scholes to come in. And yes, they require 64 from 20 deliveries.
But just the names you've mentioned just says 64 from 20 is very achievable, particularly if the Zimbabwean bowlers don't get it right.
Yeah, misses out on that one, Green. And I think looking at this match, the Zimbabwean batters delivered. They did their job. And if we have to be slightly more critical, I think the bowlers might look at themselves and think they did not really match up that effort in that intensity. But also looking at Namibia, I think Erasmus will slightly regret that decision of winning the toss and bowling first.
Yeah, it's just taken me back about 35 years still playing. And it's the idea that there are no flat wickets. These only flat performances, and I think we've seen a flat performance from the Zimbabwean seamers in particular today. Yes, the wicket is flat. Yes, it's been good for batting on, but you've still got to find a way through. 17 gone, 150 for 5.
Yeah, it's 150 up here for Namibia. I think there's lots of key positive takes here for both sides. And of course, a couple of pointers here for both bowling units. Will there be key differences in the playing surfaces and playing conditions we're experiencing right here at Queen's Sports Club and let's say at a Takashinga and Harare Sports Club?
Generally, Harare Sports Club is the quickest wicket of the ones that international cricket has played on in Zimbabwe. There's been a lot of maintenance done at Takashinga because in preparation for the fact that they're hosting the qualifying matches. And so I've been assured by Sam Matambanadzo, who is actually the groundsman at Harare Sports Club, head groundsman, oversees all the grounds that international cricket is played on. And he was at Takashinga while I was there on Saturday for just a couple of drinks. And Trumpelman is gone again. This time, not so dramatic an outcome, just the boundary.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that he's been hitting it really well. But going back to a conversation, you're narrating to us about the conditions and the surfaces in Harare.
I think that generally we're going to see a little bit quicker than they were the last time we had World Cup qualifiers here. And it's also because it's early season. We've just come out of our winter and they haven't had that consistent heat that drops your water level all the way down.
Oh, picked up here, Ruben Trumpelman in his fashion. Yeah, Richard Ngarava, all they can do now is just look on. The big bully, as they call him, Ruben Trumpelman. He likes it full, he likes it straight.
I'm seeing, yeah, exactly. I was about to say, I'm seeing a trend here. You get it outside the off stump, he's not as devastating. But if you get it into the line of the stumps, he's almost waiting for you to bowl into the stumps. And just trust those big, strong forearms. And very, very still at contact is the other thing he does very well. That's a mishit. It's going to fall into safe space.
And you just see just a slight change in the width already pose problems here for Trumpelman. So Ngarava shouldn't be coming too straight to a batter like Trumpelman. He trains for this. Back of the length, outside off stump. He hasn't really scored much from that.
We haven't seen a change of pace either from Ngarava or Mzarabani at Trumpelman, but I think that's also a good idea. There it is again, and this is also a mishit. It's Ryan Byrne who's underneath it, and in his own very unique way, he takes a straightforward catch to make it 162 for 6.
That's that change of pace you were talking about. It's almost sort of like he heard you. Ngarava picks up his first wicket. It was just the player who was getting going. And it's just that outside off stump line we were talking about. It works out here in the favor of Ngarava. The 6th wicket here to fall for Namibia, and it's Trumpelman going back into the changing room. Dylan Leicha, another exciting young all-rounder for Namibia. I think Richard will be looking at these last 2 deliveries as an opportunity to redeem himself.
It's been a tough day all around, I think, for the seam bowlers on both sides. 33 from 2.4. And every seamer who's bowled today has been expensive. It's been spinners who've just really exercised some control. We saw Erasmus have a very, very good spell. The first 3 overs in particular were outstanding. Like just 12 runs were scored off his first 3 overs. We saw the same for Sikandar Raza and Wellington Masakadza. So I think I'm starting to see a trend here that might be what we're going to see more of on Wednesday afternoon. Afternoon wicket. We should expect it to be a little drier as well. And probably take a little bit more turn.
Yeah, swing and a miss here for the youngster. I think he's coming here where there's a lot of pressure, doesn't know what to do. 18 done, 163 for 6. The last 2 overs are important. They set the tone for the next match.
Yes, they have, and what they've also done is push that run rate to 25. Zane Green would join a list of some very illustrious cricketers if he's able to take Namibia over a line from this position. Very, very few cricketers in the history of T20 have been able to find 50 runs from 2 overs, especially under the pressure of being 6 down.
Not entirely impossible. .49 from the last 2 overs. This one carries through from Zarabani.
You can almost see it, can't you? The breathing is shallow and your heart rate is racing. And the key under pressure is breathe deep. Almost slow the game down in your own mind, and then you will hit the middle. Well, that is not in the middle, and Mzarabani's after it. Is he going to pick up a wicket? Yes, he does. He picks up his second. Caught and bowled, and it's Zane Green who's gone for 33 from 27. Namibia in some real trouble now at 163 for 7.
It's all for Zimbabwe to lose it now. The 7th wicket to fall. And that wicket, that demise of Green, who in all respect has really done well to resuscitate this chase for Namibia. And the demise of Green brings in another exciting youngster, exciting talent here from Namibia. Alexander Volshank to join Elijah. They've got 10 deliveries to express themselves and to show that they belong at this level of cricket.
Biggest problem with Mzarabani bowling at from way over 6'8" is he's very difficult to hit straight if he bowls a good length. You've got to be looking square leg or cow cornerish, looking to pick him up rather than drive him down the ground. That's a low full toss played out to Marumani, keeps it down to just 1 run.
I couldn't really capitalize on that white photos forcing, but he immediately opens his account. Elijah still searching. Oh, he gets it right this time around. He's been searching for that. He's really good at it when he gets it right. Also opens his account In an interesting fashion, it's the boundary once again for Namibia. You'd contextualize this as a decent fight from Namibia?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's going to be very interesting in the second T20. And that is because sure, the discussion in the change room is, yes, probably going to lose by about 30, 25, maybe 30 runs from this position. But what we did do is that in the first half of the game, we were keeping up with what we'd been set by Zimbabwe. It's those 2 wickets we lost in part. The concept of losing 2 wickets quickly set us back a long way.
Gets out of it again. There's a man out there in the deep. You only settle for a single. Leiche.
Definitely going to be some positives to take from this one. And also is to find a way to not let Raza and Masakadza dominate that period after 10. Really, really important to make sure you're finding a boundary every over from Masakadza and from Raza.
Brad Evans to take the last one. Yeah, the 2 youngsters here from Namibia have an opportunity to show some fight in them. Yeah, but facing a quality bowler like Brad Evans, you need to show up. It's a full twist to start off with. Doesn't get much to it. That's it up. Oh, it's a skipper. He puts it down. Probably the easiest of catches you will get in T20 cricket. But it so happens that Sikander Raza puts that one down.
Yeah, he's going to be so disappointed with himself. Yes, he's got a run in, but this is one that he normally would have pouched. Prides himself on the quality of his fielding, so he's going to be disappointed.
Tries to muscle that to the onside. Just some slight extra bounce. Short. Well negotiated. They'll get a boundary. Leiche. He is quite tall and comfortable with the shot delivery. Oh, just a couple of inches from stepping on his own wickets here. Leiche. Yeah, valiant efforts here from Garava.
Should just be the single with one ball left in this first T20 international. Brad Evans has stood out amongst the seamers. Been very relatively economical. Just the 1 wicket for him. His 2.5 have gone for 26. And there we have the first T20 international between Zimbabwe and Namibia. Namibia won the toss and inserted Zimbabwe, and then a partnership of 124 for the first wicket between Marumani, who scored 62 from 48, and Brian Bennett, who got his highest T20 international score, 94 from just 51. Set up 211 for 3. And then in response, Namibia were 177 for 7.
Yeah, a 33-run win here for Zimbabwe. I think Zimbabwe will be happy to take the win, as well as take a few key lessons from this. Namibia as well have shot some good fight. The youngsters putting their hands up and kept the fight. Milan Krier, 13 from 13 deliveries. And it was the partnership of Freiling and Lofty Eaton that resuscitated this run chase. And Freiling had to go. Erasmus, 26 from 19. But JJ Smith couldn't really fight today. And outstanding work from Zane Green, the wicketkeeper, 33 from 27.
Yeah, Zimbabwean bowling. Wellington Masakaza back into the Zimbabwe side for in a while. Picked up 1 for 23 in his 4. And then Sikandar Raza picked up 2 for 31 in his 4. Zarabani picked up 2. But along with Ngarava, was quite expensive by his standards. But Zimbabwe, nevertheless, were able to defend their 211 for 3.
Yeah, there you have it, the match summary. It was all to do for Bennett and Marumani. That partnership just set Zimbabwe up and gave it a good tone for them to score more than 200. Namibia showed some good fight. Full Skank picking up 2 wickets for 43 in his 4 overs, and Trumpelman only picking up 1 wicket for 46 in his 4 overs. Partnership in patches here. Lofty Eaton, Green and Erasmus. Couldn't really find anyone that stood out for Namibia.
Couple of more matches in this Namibia tour of Zimbabwe, the T20 series. Last international matches before the World Cup qualifiers. The next game is at 1 p.m. on Wednesday. And that'll be here at Queen Sports Club again.
It's good to see both teams using this platform for preparation for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup qualifier. This broadcast, of course, free admission. So join us again tomorrow and then on Thursday. Exciting cricket. 2 nations going head to head. Of course, Namibia will be looking to revisit their fortunes again. The last time they were at Queen's Sports Club a couple of years ago, they had a serious sweep over the host nation Zimbabwe. But this time around, Zimbabwe taking the first one.